how's it going? This is Darrin with GuitarControl.com bringing you this video lesson. And today I want to show you how to play three cool riffs from Ratt. Warren DeMartini has always been one of my favorite guitar players, and I've just always liked Ratt. They have a lot of cool guitar riffs that are just kind of different from what all the other bands were doing at that time, I think. So be sure to click on the link in the description for the tabs, and let's get close up and take a look. Alright, so the first one we're going to look at is Back for More. Alright, so for Back for More, it starts off this very first chord. It's kind of an extended A5, so if you just take your first finger, just like you're doing a regular A chord, so I'm playing the A string open and I'm barring my first finger across the second fret of the D, G, and B strings. And then I am taking my fourth finger and I'm barring it across the fifth fret of the B and high E string. So that's like the opening chord. And that's a quarter note. So it's like 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and... So we're going to do this, we're pedaling the open A string. And this is like a big part of this riff. And I'm palm muting that. So we've got 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. So that's the first measure. Then we go on to the second measure. We're going to do a E5 here. So we're going to put our first finger onto the second fret of the D string, and then your third finger onto the fourth fret of the G string. So, and this is all eighth notes. So we've got 1, and 2, and 3, and then on the and of 3, we're going to do an A5 over E. So what you're going to do is just take your first finger and just bar it so you're picking up the second fret of the G string. Then we hit the A string, open A string on the downbeat of 4, and then on the and of 4, we just hit the D and G string open. It's a G5 over D. So that second measure, so the first two measures, then we're going to do an F. So, whoops. So starting on the third measure, we have an F, and it's just a dyad. So I'm on the third fret of the D string with my second finger, and the second fret of the G string with my first finger. And this is just like the first measure, so this is going to be 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. Then we're going to basically repeat the fourth measure, and the second measure is the same. And then moving on to the fifth measure, we have an F sharp minor. So now we're going to do second fret of the G string with your first finger, and then the fourth fret of the D string with your third finger. And that's a quarter note, followed with the eighth notes, 1 or 2, and 3, and 4, and. So then starting on the sixth measure, now we've got B5 over F, so we're going to take our third finger and just bar it across the fourth fret of the D and G string. And then an F sharp minor, so that note on the G string moves from the fourth fret to the second fret. And then on the downbeat of 4, it's the open A string and then the open D string on the and of 4. So that just leaves two measures after that, which is probably the most difficult part, especially if you're a beginner. So now we're going to come up here to the fifth fret of the D string with your fourth finger and your first finger on the second fret of the G string. And we're going to pick D, B, G, D, B, G, D. Then come up here to the, well, there's actually a couple ways you can do this. You can switch your whole hand position, or you could just drop your third finger down here. But you're going to be on the fifth fret of the D string, and then the fourth fret of the G string. Open A to that again, Then we're going to move up to an A, so we're just going to move that shape up a whole step. So now we're on the 6th fret of the G string and the 7th fret of the D string. And then we end with an open A string. So the next one we're going to look at is Wanted Man. So this one uses a lot of the same, dyad chord shapes that we did on the previous ones. So we start off, we just got 3 open low E's. And we come up here to the 9th fret, and we're just going to use our first finger to bar the 9th fret of the D and the G string. Then down to the 7th fret, then the open low E. And then we're going to 7 and 6. So 7th fret of the D string and the 6th fret of the G string. The low E again, and then back to playing on the same fret, the 5th fret. Then we do the 3 open low E's again. Back to that first one at the 9th fret. And then we're going to go to the B and G string, or the G and B string. We're going to be on the 7th fret of the G string and the 8th fret of the B string. 2 more open low E's. And then we're going to go to the 7th fret of the D string and the 6th fret of the G string, and then to the barring the 5th again. And then the last one we're going to look at is You're in Love. So for this one you need to be in drop D. So we're going to tune our low E down to a D. And this one is using a lot of just your regular major bar chord with the root note on the 5th string. So we start off, we've got D. So our first finger's on the 5th fret, and then my third finger is barring the 7th fret of the D, G, and B string. And this is 8th note, so it's 1 and 2 and. So on the end of 2, or excuse me, on the end of 1 and the downbeat of 2, we just play the low E, tuned down to a D, palm muted. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then we're going to come up here to the 9th fret. And we're just going to pick up the D and G string, same timing, and then down to C. So we just take that same shape that we were doing here and move it down a whole step. So that's the first 2 measures. Then the third measure is the same as the first. Then we come down and do an A5. And then, so that's on the downbeat of 1. And then the end of 2, we hit the E and A together twice. And then we go to that C. And now this is probably the hardest part. We're going to do a C suspended 4. So we're going to do that C, and then you're going to take your 4th finger and pick up the 6th fret of the B string, but it's a hammer-on. And then back for 2 more strums of the C. So there you have it, 3 classic riffs from Ratt. Like I said earlier, Warren DeMartini's always been one of my favorite guitar players, so I think these are just cool riffs. They're fun to play, not too terribly tough to play either. So if you like this lesson, be sure to give me a thumbs up and leave a comment down below if you have any questions about this or other guitar-related topics. If you've not already done so, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the content that we upload throughout the week. Well, that is all I have for you today. Thanks for watching and have a great day.